Okay, I'm gonna put this as part 2 for the SR71. There may be a part 3, but there will be more information on the main article on our main blog. So I thought I'd get into this today. I did say I was going to talk a little bit about the heat on the craft and the engines a bit. There's some details about the engine. I found it a bit too difficult to put into video form. That will be added to the article. For a number of reasons it's complicated, because the graphics that there are supplied with the SR71 manual is, if you're a technician for the craft itself, you can probably look at it and you're fine. You understand it straight away. However, if you're a layman like myself and perhaps the viewer, you might scratch your head a bit at what's going on here. But it can be put into layman terms. I'll translate it into a graphic form in the article, how I understand it, the best way I understand it. I think it's pretty close to what is. And again, the whole core goal of the Exploratory Mind project in many ways is, if there is anything wrong or a bit skewed in details, you'd let us know and we're correct as we go along. But it seems I've gone over it. I think I pretty much understand it. So we go for some more details actually. So got some information in front of me. And the Blackbird, I've always known the SR71 is also known as a Blackbird, was actually quite radar detectable, but probably not once it got so high, maybe. The speeds also was quite a smart way of the height and being able to go at Mach 3. The combination of that would be a way to utilize conservation of energy by the sheer fact that the further in height you go, the thinner the atmosphere is. So you get thinner atmosphere. The atmosphere thins out exponentially the higher you go up. Thinner it is, less friction you're going to get with drag around the craft. So you enable to go faster with the same amount of energy going at slower speeds due to higher friction in your atmosphere at lower altitudes. Hope that was clear. The Blackbird was developed, as we know, at Lockheed Martin division for secretive projects called Skunk Works. Lockheed Martin was called the Lockheed Skunk Works originally. It was designed to replace other stealth aircraft like Lockheed Martin's U-2. Flying, as we've already said, 82,000 feet, 15.5 miles up, and up to speeds of 3.2 or Mach 3.2 or 2,400 miles per hour. One of the first finishes off the production line actually had a image of a skunk on the, I think it was the tail or the nose somewhere actually on the craft, because of the Skunk Works. And I'm not sure what the story is behind it, why it was called Skunk Works or whichever, but that's what they called the team working on this. So developing high supersonic airplane came with one giant problem though: heat, because of the friction with the atmosphere. As supersonic airplane flies faster and faster, the friction with the air was ramming against the outer body. It results in the heat build up over time during the flight, very quickly actually, around the craft. And to keep it flying functionally, the designers had to find clever ways to keep this craft cooler. And it would have literally started to melt if this wasn't in place. Special fuel, actually, that was stable at high temperatures was developed for this craft. So the whole thing really was very unique in so many ways. Even the fuel it was filled with was unique for the craft during the time. This was a big leap in technological advancement. The fuel was stable at these high temperatures, was developed for the craft. According to the SR71 manual, the fuel was used both as energy for the engine and as engine hydraulic fluid. So the fluid used to power certain engine components. When the aircraft was traveling supersonically, like Mach 3.2 to be exact, the official top speed, the fuel was also used as part of a heat sink. Basically, a heat sink is like a device that uses a fluid to flick away heat from a solid object. If you know anything about building a desktop PC, then you get that heat sink on your CPU is to radiate heat away from it. So the Blackbird's manual states basically that without the heat sink capability, parts of the airplane and its engines would have overheated at high Mach speeds, particularly Mach 3. Though the craft was designed to be stealthy, it was actually detectable by radar thanks to a large amount of heat. Yeah, there's the irony here. At lower speeds, it was kind of not that detectable because low radar return due to its physical structure. However, heat was giving it away because of the amount of heat. I don't want to get into too much of the science behind that, but it was detectable. Apparently, it let it down because of the increase in heat. So thanks to the large amount of heat coming off its engines when it travelled at high speeds, according to globalsecurity.gov, that's where I got some of that information, the Federal Aviation Administration could track the Blackbird from also SR71. I was saying Blackbird because that's what I got in front of me. It was known as the Blackbird, sort of. It's like a common name and model name, BSR71, from several hundred miles away by detecting the exhaust heat. United States Air Force set 4 records, basically, on March 6, 1990. The record was a trip from Los Angeles, California to Washington, D.C. on its way to its new home in the I don't know how you pronounce it, Udvar Hazy. It made this journey anyway in 64 minutes and 2 seconds with an average speed of 2,144 miles per hour. The Blackbird had another quirky heat thwarting feature. This is what I said I was going to get into as well. The craft leaked fuel. And like I said, it leaked a lot of fuel, but it was actually in some way as part of the design, deliberately. It was a heat thwarting feature. It leaked fuel. According to Lockheed Martin, 93% of the airplane is made of titanium alloy. Titanium expands as it's heated. And by the way, I'll put in the blog article how they got the titanium, by the way. It's a very interesting story. Titanium does expand like any metal will expand when it's heated. To keep the airplane from crunching up like a soda can when it was flying at high speeds, the designers deliberately left gaps between body panels. Consequently, fuel stored in the plane's body leaked out onto the runway before takeoff. Once airborne and warmed up by friction, the titanium would expand and those gaps would seal, and it would no longer be leaking fuel. It would have a refueling in the air. Another craft would go up, and once it's done some speed, another craft would go up and fill it up. Amazing, right? I wasn't too sure how that worked though. How it would fill up? I know the craft would be level with it, and there's some tube coming off the craft. I think it might be on the page, some details about that actually. So left gaps in the panels deliberately, so it leaked this fuel stored in the body. It sealed up because of the friction. Blackbird would be refueled before leaving on its mission as well. Skunk Works improved upon the Blackbird when it created the F-117 Nighthawk, their first truly stealth airplane. They also collaborated with Boeing to develop the more conventional looking F-22 Raptor stealth fighter. And who knows what else is up, Skunk Works sleeve, now known as Lockheed Martin, though. Regardless of what is kept secret and they're developing on, I'll do a short video perhaps, or a short article. If you don't see the video, it would be the article expanded about the SR72. And I think that would be it really. But that's why it leaked. It's an interesting story. And the titanium, like I said, I'll write about that, it came from Russia. The Russians didn't necessarily know who they sold it to. The richest resource in the world where you can get titanium is Russia. Get the resources out of the ground. It's also the biggest landmass. So it makes you wonder about any stories that are trying to instigate as if America's having issues with Russia or the world, so on. Russia, the big bad guy. I really think the Cold War was a political convenience for Russia and everyone else. It really was. Deliberately so in some ways, perhaps. So there's a lot of information in front of me right now. We could go over some of that as well. I thought it would be interesting to share this. Thanks for watching. That's a short one for now, and I'll look into the heat signature perhaps in the next part. Keeping them short because there's other things I want to be getting on with at the moment, and short just in case there's a distraction. There's other people that live here. So cheers, take care, bye, and thank you very much. 100 subscribers. Cheers, bye.